So welcome everybody to It's a Smalls World. Today is a very special episode. We just had Diane Morales on running for New York City mayor a few days ago. And now we have some former members of her staff and also some organizers and activists of New York. And they help, what I say, help build her platform. You know, a lot of people want to separate the two, and I just don't see how you do that. You know, you can't forget about where you came from, and it seems that this is where we at right now. And I'm joined by my lovely co-host Blakely. How you doing, Blakely?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here tonight with all of you lovely people.
Absolutely. And I wanna have you all introduce yourselves, because I think the work that you guys and the work that you do, I consider you my comrades. The work that my comrades do here is amazing. They're amazing organizers and activists. Follow their work, even though I'm not able to always get involved. I always stay in tune, especially in New York City, where I also organize, especially a lot with the essential workers and Amazon workers. So it's important, all the things that we're doing, no matter what movement we're in. And without further ado, would you like to introduce yourself? I'm gonna start with you, T.S. Candii. You're on mute. Unmute yourself. You gotta mute yourself.
Hello, everyone. Viewers, thank you, Smalls and Blakely and everyone for reaching out to Tanesha. Thank you, Tanesha, for organizing all of us here today. My name is T.S. Candii. That's T.S. Candii with two I's because I never question myself with a Y. I'm the executive director of Black Trans Nation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization and a charity. I'm also the founder of Black Trans Nation New York, where we are a 501c4. I am also the leader of the Repeal the Walk and While Trans Ban. I'm also a member of the Decrim New York, the Decrim New York Coalition. Thank you all so much. I pass it to Tanisha.
Hey everyone, I'm Tanesha Grant. I am the CEO of Parents Supporting Parents New York, and I am the lead admin of Moms United for Black Lives New York City. And I am a community organizer and I speak for my community. I will pass it to Dan.
Thanks, Tanesha. Hi, everybody. My name is Dan Zimberg. I use he, him pronouns. Really excited to be here with y'all today to tell this story. I am Diane Morales, now former labor organizer. So props to all of the workers out there.
Absolutely.
I'm going to send it to IAMQUEENS.
Hi, everybody. First, I want to take the time out to thank Chris, and I want to also thank Ms. Tanesha for giving me the opportunity to share my story and be able to explain myself on what has been going on in this campaign. My name is IAMQUEENS. I'm a youth grassroots organizer. I'm a youth civil rights social justice leader, activist, movement strategist, and I'm a youth advocate for the New York City child welfare system to abolish ACS. I am also a former foster child that has aged out, and I currently live in a homeless shelter, and I'm a homeless youth. And I'm also a queer Black man, proud, and pronouns he, him, his, they, them.
Welcome. Wow. So I'm taken back, just by the fact that we've been talking about you. Dan and IAMQUEENS former staff that worked for Diane and now was terminated yesterday. Before we get into that, I had a conversation with my sis Tanesha, and from the outside looking in, I'm gonna tell everybody, from the outside looking in, the entire year, as long as I've met Tanesha and Diane, I actually met them within the same week down in DC last year. I thought, you were tighter than, y'all were sisters, like came from the same community, whatever. I thought you ladies were tighter than tight. And when you pulled your endorsement, that's when I hit your inbox like, yo, what is going on? And can you explain what happened with your relationship and how did we get to this point? Tanesha.
Well, so I've known Diane for a while. I actually met Diane at the Black and Brown Caucus that I was at in I want to say 2020, maybe in February of 2020, if not 2019. And ended up organizing with her on the ground and ended up building a relationship with her and ended up like being the first people on the ground to spread, you know, Diane Morales' name for mayor. I do a lot of marches, I do a lot of rallies, and I'm usually the MC. So Diane, you know, a lot of people got to know who Diane was because of me. She might not want to give me credit for that, but I have an extensive network. And with my two nonprofit organizations, you know, with Moms United for Black Lives, I have prominent moms that live on the Upper East Side that were petitioning for her. I held 2 fundraisers for her. At her Rose Bowl fundraiser, I coordinated with Dan to open it up for her. I'm featured in her campaign ad. Our whole laptop initiative, which I have been doing for the last, this will be our, I get confused on the months. This will be our 9th month. So right. In our first laptop initiative, the first computers we gave away was last October. That initiative, that giveaway is featured in Diane's campaign ad that she put out. I am featured in Diane's campaign ad. And I would have to say that not only did I endorse her, but Black Trans Nation endorsed her too. And Candii is my sister. So unbeknownst to other people, the same thing that you were telling Blakely, I was trying to tell Candii. And Candii is the one who was telling me, nah, girl, this ain't it. Like, she's using us. Like, she's using us. She's using our voices. Because she's always talking about the Walking Wild with Pale Trans band. She's always talking about, you know, she would have Black Trans Nation at the table with her as mayor, and none of that things were lies. Like, what was true. Diane thinks that she's a savior. Not only white people think that they're saviors, and she somehow thinks that she knows what Black people need and brown people need for liberation better than we do. No, I don't even want to say Black and brown people. She thinks she knows what Black people need to get Black liberation more than we do. And she thinks that she can put our dark-skinned presenting Black woman as myself, or a trans Black woman such as Candii, or a young queer Black man such as Larry in their places. Or you know, a white man such as Dan in his place. I don't know if it went to her head or what, but she totally lost her mind. And I don't believe in being politically correct. I believe politically correct is racist. I believe that's why a lot of people get into office that shouldn't be into office, because we don't stand up and we don't speak up before the people get into office and say that they're harmful and that they are basically trying to further or start their political career literally off the backs of Black and brown people and off the back of Black pain. And I'm not for it. So that's my story in a nutshell. But I'm not just sharing space for myself. I'm sharing space for other people. So basically, I seen the receipts. She didn't think I was connected to the people that worked for her as I am. She does not believe in people power. She doesn't believe in my power as a community activist, as a community organizer, because I'm not rich, I'm not well off, and she was sadly mistaken. So she was telling me lies, and I was getting the actual receipts from the people that worked from her, and finding out the things that she was saying about me as well.
Right. So when was the last time you talked to her?
The last time I spoke to her was over text, and it was last week. It was last Friday. I told her that I didn't want to talk to her over text anymore, that I wanted to see her face to face, because let's be clear, I have not seen Diane at any event that I have done since last October. So I had sent her a text like, sis, why are you leaving the ground? Like, why are you not coming to anything that we're having? And I'm screaming and shouting your name, but it's, we had a Malcolm X march, which she did donate hats and scarves to, but it was like the 56th anniversary of his murder. And we had a beautiful march and speak out, and we gave away 400 pounds of food, Chris, right there on 135th Street and St. Nick's. And she was too busy. Just every time I asked her to do something, she was just too busy. Like, I witnessed the things that was going on with her and T.S. Candii. I witnessed some of the harm that was happening to the Black and brown workers in Queens, because unbeknownst to her, I'm very close to the community organizer. That's Pardue. But, she didn't think that my roots to the ground was as deep as they were. So when I found out what I found out, and then I could combat her lies with the truth, I didn't want to talk to her anymore. So basically, I told her last Friday, because I'm not the behind your back type. When I'm coming for you, I want you to know, because I like competition and I just believe in fair fights.
Right.
So I told her, I'm pulling my endorsement. This is totally wrong. How dare you? She said some things about she said some things about me. She was trying to get some advice about something I had text her. I had text her like, the Black women organizers want to meet with you. And she said something like I was trying to monopolize the Black woman thing, the Black woman community. And I don't see any other dark-skinned Black women out here doing what I'm doing. So I don't see how I'm trying to monopolize anything. And then she said she wanted to check me on that. And I was just kind of confused, because she just figured out that she had African roots. I'm sure 2-3 years ago, she was not calling herself an Afro-Latina. So she just totally showed me who she was, and me and T.S. Candii got together and got with the organizers and acted accordingly.
Right. So T.S. Candii, I want to bring you in. You were trying to tell Tanesha months before, nah, she not it. Why? Why did you say that?
Well, let me backpedal. Let me let you all know how I met Diane. So I met Diane actually through Tanesha. I was on the ground organizing, doing an event, and Diane, I organized an event called the Love and Happiness March. So Diane actually came, and when Diane came, let's be clear, she only came petitioning. That was the only thing that she could offer, was to petition for her her campaign. So I didn't have any anything negative about it or whatever like that. So I'm like, whatever. So mind you, I was working when I'm on the ground doing like organizing and things of that nature. I'm like working up under my Black Trans Nation, my 501c3 umbrella. So this is my first year, with the 501c4 and 501c3. So, Tanesha, like, she's in my ear, like, this is it, this is her. So, I'm like, or whatever like that. So, to fast forward, when I, stopped, my 501, working up under my 501c3 umbrella and moved over to my 501c4, so that I could start to organize debates that I wasn't able to do because Diane uppercutted me. So I was trying to organize a debate with a action that I'm not going to say the name because I don't want, I do a lot of work with them. So it was a particular action group that I was doing. I was, about to get to do, a debate or whatever, just to get all the mayors, standpoint on, the trans policies. So Diane came in, was like, oh, well, you endorsed me or whatever like that. And then that's when I basically wanted her to, send me like I wanted her to fill out this documentation where it let me know how much money she got made, how many endorsements she got, basically a form that, because I didn't, mind you, I didn't give her that form to begin with or whatever, because I mind you, I'm on the ground, you know, in the middle of fighting, sweat, tears, and all of this and all of that. So, you know, my brain really not, you know, working. I mean, it's working on that part, but it's not, you know, thinking about my C4 or whatever. So I did a little cross contamination. I'm gonna be real, or whatever, like it, which was a lesson that I learned. So, so boom. So when I got to, you know, needing to work up under my 501c4 and do the debates, I realized that boom, I already did told people I endorsed them. But mind you, during this time, I didn't know how strong my power was. I'm gonna be real. I didn't know, you know, how strong I was, and you know how, you know, people looked at me, and like I really didn't know, because people really don't tell me that they or whatever like that. So make a long story short, I told Diane, I was like, well, girl, I need my endorsement back, because she didn't want to fill out no paperwork. She didn't want to, you know, give me the things that I need. So I'm like, okay, well, I need my endorsement back or whatever like that. So then that's when she challenged me or whatever like that, because mind you,
this was months ago. This was months ago.
Yeah, this was in March, actually. Yeah, this was in March or whatever like that. Let me see. Yeah, this was March 6th. Yeah, March 6th. Between March 5th and March 6th. So Diane and so I'm telling Diane, okay, she was like, well, you endorsed me, blah, 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 here, you know, here go your endorsement or whatever like that. And so I told her I wanted to pull it back in March, right? Or whatever like that. And she basically was like, no, you can't take your endorsement back. You are challenging my integrity. You are, it was just a bunch of things that she was accusing me of or whatever like that. And I'm like, how me, a Black transgender woman, you know, challenging your integrity, whatever, like, and like, you know, it was just like, it was a lot of stuff that, it was a lot of stuff that I was sitting up here trying to battle with, you know, or whatever, like that, on like, if you know that you're for the people, and I do take my endorsement back and I do a forum or whatever like that, you know, you for the people, you should not have no issue. You should not, I feel like that you shouldn't have an issue of winning the endorsement back loud and proud, because the way that I wanted to do it was loud and proud, not behind behind closed doors. So I got, you know, so I started to get the whiff of a lot of people utilizing the walking while trans ban. Now, for those that don't know what the walking while trans ban is actually a policy that's called the Loitering for the Purpose of Prostitution. ITS, Candii has spearheaded that particular law, and on February 2nd of 2021, ITS, Candii, amongst other individuals, was able to see that law get repealed and records get expunged. So I say that to say that were Diane, when Diane go into the LGBT arena, she utilized my name, T.S. Candii. She utilized the Walking While Trans ban in vain. And the reason why I say she used it in vain was because I never knew. And then hold on. And when I told her that you can't use my name in areas without me at least being in the area, like how you want to talk about me without me at the table?
Right. To
these LGBT community people. You feel me? So I'm like, she gonna tell me, oh, well, that's the game. Excuse me?
That was her words.
Yes. She was like, oh, that's the game. So I'm, you know, popping my neck and stuff, because now I'm hot because you didn't use my hard labor, I'm talking about, I had to sell sex to get this law passed, because there was money that, I'm gonna say this organization, AVP, Anti-Violence Project, had, that Decrim New York, which was the AVP was the physical sponsor of Decrim New York or whatever, like, and Walking While Trans was the little grapefruit that was hanging from Decrim New York or whatever, like it was the stop and frisk or whatever the case may be. And so they had the money to, you know, be able to put towards campaigns and, you know, little things like things of nature. They didn't or whatever like that. So, you know, when I was up in Albany, you know, fighting for this law, whatever like that, I had like 48 hours to get up, like sometimes $1,000 to pay individuals to get on the bus to get there. So I say all that to say, I take very seriously, not only the Walk My Trans Band, but TS Candii.
Absolutely, as you should. Wow. All right. Thank you for that input. Now the picture's getting clearer and clearer of how we build up to this point. And before I bring in Queens, I want to hear from Dan. Dan, you will probably work with Diane on a day-to-day basis closely to anybody, right? More so than anybody, or how often would you communicate with her?
So yeah, just for a little bit more background on that, my work within the campaign was very siloed in a way that I would just be communicating with just a very, very small group of people. One of which would be Diane herself, but almost to a limiting fashion. I would not communicate with Diane just out of the blue. We kept our relationship very professional. Actually, one of the most longest periods of time we spent together was when we went out to Staten Island. I believe it was in March to hang out with you and the Amazon workers who were basically supporting the Bessemer vote out in Alabama. So that was one of only a couple of times that I actually had sort of like a time with Diane where we talked a little bit about personal things. But mostly my relationship with her was professional. And just to give a little bit more clarity, I was not aware of everything that was happening with the campaign because I had been so siloed for so long until I believe it was May 24th. It was, I believe, that Monday in May when we had a meeting with a third party to basically talk about signing a document in regards to sexual harassment and basically doing sort of like a cultural reset of the campaign. So a lot of this stuff started spilling out there, sort of in vague terms, because a lot of people who were harmed felt uncomfortable with those who had done the harm being on that call. So I'm just sitting at home in front of my computer listening and going, what is happening right now? So
Right.
this was very, very new to me just wow, like 3 weeks ago. I imagine Larry, IAMQUEENS, probably can tell you a little bit more backstory of like some of the harms that were occurring at that time. But that's just my own personal experience with the small group of people that I worked with on the campaign. As I focused outwardly on labor endorsements and trying to get these questionnaires that are pages and pages long done with our incredible policy team. And so that was the nature of my work.
Wow. All right. Last but not least, IAMQUEENS. Tell us from your perspective what happened and how did we get to this point with Diane from your point of view?
Absolutely, Chris, and thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to use my voice as a platform for others who don't have. My name is IAMQUEENS, everybody, and I was on the Queens team. I was a Queens neighborhood organizer for Southside Jamaica, Queens. That is my community. That is my hometown. I grew up right on Rockaway 147 and Baisley and Foch. And I also was helping out with Rochdale and other parts of Queens, such as Astoria, Sunnyside, anything you can think of. Myself and other Queens organizers was really out there door knocking and actually, hanging up posters and speaking to people in Queens to tell them to vote for Diane, because we believed in defund the police. We believed in disarming the police, and we believed in reinvesting money that comes out of the NYPD budget and putting that into Black communities, because it's so important for us to talk about that. I joined Diane's campaign really because I wanted to educate her as well as other folks that were on the Diane Morales team about homelessness. But before I get into homelessness, I need to talk to everybody and tell them that I'm a former foster child. I was in foster care since I was 2 years old. And when I turned 21 years old, This was all the way back in 1998. I have been in foster care for 20 years, and I aged out of the foster care system, which is the Administration for Children's Services, which is ACS, and I aged out with just a Metro card to survive. I didn't have no legal documents of a birth certificate, a passport, a social security card, a state ID, a driver's license. I had to do all this on my own, and I just recently got all of that. I aged out homeless, and I was homeless for 7 months. So then I got myself into a shelter, and I live in a shelter right now for runaway homeless youth, for youth who have been ripped away from their families, youth who are undocumented immigrants that have been in cages due to ICE, youth who have even been, sex workers, youth who have been in the streets, because they have been kicked out of their homes, they have been kicked out of these churches, they have been kicked out of these schools. And when we go to the street to find work, we can't even live there. You continue to marginalize us and you continue to put us down. I've watched almost 15 of my trans siblings die in less than a week. And this is in New York City, and nobody is talking about this. And I decided to just join the campaign because when do we ever say Black children matter? When do we ever say protect Black youth? When do we ever say protect trans youth, protect queer youth, protect youth, period? And a lot of the times when I would hear Diane speak, she said something that I just totally didn't agree with, because every politician and every elected official says this all the time. I always hear youth are the future. I don't believe youth are the future. I believe youth are right now. And I'm gonna tell you why I believe that youth are right now, because I live in a homeless shelter. Y'all have stolen my dreams. I'm getting treated like a criminal here. I have no mutual aid access. I have no food pantry access. I have to go through metal detectors. I literally have came from homelessness where I was literally sex working, where I was a human sex traffic victim at a young age. I've been sexually assaulted through the foster care system, through all the 23 foster homes I've been in, including group homes, covenant homes, children's centers, men's shelters, anything you can think of. That's what I have went through. It was times where I couldn't even find out what my own sexuality preference was because I was introduced to men. Men raped me at such a young age. Having sex with women, my own hormones could not get hard as a Black man. And it's just these are the things we don't talk about. So I decided to educate Diane and the team about abolishing ACS, but also defunding ACS, because ACS is a government agency that is taking so much money from white corporations and white foundations. But what they really need to do is invest into our youth, because we are aging out of foster care with no resources. I'm talking about we are getting kicked out of our homes to the streets, and we don't have no luggage. We are getting moved out in garbage bags. If you come to my shelter right now and come to my room, it's garbage bags where I'm literally going through my clothes because I don't have luggage. And I just came out of a fire in a foster home that set the house on fire. So I have a whole bunch of trauma and depression, sadness. I've been incarcerated. I've been homeless. Anything you can think of, I have been through it. But I came through, and I decided to become an activist because I had no other choice. I became activated. There was an activation in me that had a good time where I just had to become a voice for my foster care siblings. And my foster care siblings include Black trans women. I had foster care siblings that were men turning into women, and they didn't feel comfortable living in their truth because our foster parents, our mother, our foster father, our foster grandfather, they didn't even want to accept that. Homophobia is real, misogyny is real, transphobia is real, ephemophobia is real, and fat phobia is real. And I just want to say that these are the stuff I was bringing to Diane, that I've been traumatized because I've watched my foster care siblings, whether they're trans, queer, straight, whatever they are, I've watched them kill themselves. I've watched them literally attempt to commit suicide, relapse, overdose. And all of this is happening because of foster care. So Diane, what are we gonna do about the foster care system? Because it starts with ACS. ACS is ripping children away from their families. And you do not see ACS doing this to white people. White folks are not getting their children ripped away from them when they are syringing themselves, putting drugs and alcohol in their body. But let it be a Black person. We get our children ripped away from us, and then we have to go through a rehabilitation program, a drug program. On top of that, we get incarcerated. On top of that, we lose our maternal rights. On top of that, we have to have visitation days at foster care agencies. So I know my stuff. And I decided to jump on the campaign to talk about foster care, to talk about youth homelessness, to talk about youth who have been kicked out of their homes, kicked out of their shelters, and are sleeping, and they don't have no mutual aid access. They have no access to food. They have no access to clothes. So I told Diane, I was like, there was a lot of harm I had to endure, as well as the Queen team. And excuse me if I get emotional, but there was so much anti-Blackness on the campaign. And it was hard for me to want to unionize because it was white folks that was on that campaign that truly were just so rude, disrespectful, misogynist. And it just was built off of white supremacy. And it's like, to be a Black man on that campaign, it just felt triggering because I have been through so much throughout my life, being in group homes. I've watched my foster care siblings be murdered in front of my face.
Their brother, again, who was in the transition of becoming a trans woman, jump in front of the G train station in Brooklyn, while myself and my other foster care siblings were trying to save her. So the amount of trauma that I have right now, I had to enroll myself into therapy, and that's not enough because I suffer from suicide, depression, mental illness of ADHD, and all of this comes from foster care. So I wanted to enlighten and educate Diane about what foster care youth are going through in America, but especially New York City. And it's just not fair because we know our rights, but we don't have anybody fighting for us, and that hurts me more. So I feel like, that talks about my story, but I also want to get into the amount of railroading that has happened on that campaign because it was young youth that were like 16 years old on my Queens team that were just volunteers. They was working over 40 hours.
I saw
and
that
that's
statement.
child labor. That's child labor. You know what I mean? And my biggest thing is as well, Chris, is the fact that they wasn't getting paid for any of that. But when they got sent to, door knock, when they got sent to go out to the field to represent Diane and to bring her name about in the community, they had nobody to be an orientation supervisor or guide them. Like, these are 16-year-olds on the streets talking to people, working over 40 hours, and they're not getting paid. And it just was a lot of abuse and harm. I was disrespected. I actually was, called aggressive and militant, myself and my best friend Farood. And I think the biggest thing that I didn't like was the fact that it was white folks on the team that was telling Black people what to do. And, for me, I come from a space where it was hard for me to really share my story because every time I tried to share my story, it would always be a threat that would be, given and pushed in front of my face. And I just always felt like for you to be an ally as a white person, you need to not speak for Black people, not try to take the spotlight off of us. I'll give an example right now. If for any white person that is listening to this right now on this podcast, if you are at a protest and you are louder than the people who are actually experiencing this pain and this injustice, you are not a part of the problem, but you are the problem. You are the problem if you are a white person and you are at these protests on the front lines being louder than the Black people that are truly impacted to this pain and this injustice. And I'm saying that because you are to not be an ally, but you are to be an accomplice and co-conspirator. You should be protecting me out of harm's way because I understand all white folks are not racist, but all white folks have privilege. And I think they need to see that and recognize that because when the cops cross us, we're getting baton whipped, maced, pepper sprayed, tear gas. I have went through all of that at such a young age as a youth social justice leader and activist. And this is all I was telling Diane. I'm just like, if you are to represent us as mayor, what are we going to do with PCS? I'm talking about children. I have worked with biological parents, biological mothers, helping them get their children back because they made one family mistake. And I have been in courtrooms trying to testify as an activist, as a foster care activist, for the biological mother to get her children back because she made a mistake. And it's like, this is only happening to Black and brown people. There's no white folks out here that are getting their children ripped away from them and having to go through court, having to go through a foster care agency and get visitation days, having to go through background checks, having to go through anything you could think of, a rehabilitation program, a drug program, just to get their children back. And I don't want to take too much time out, but that is literally my whole reason of why I joined this campaign, because I truly have been through so much brokenness. And, I always felt like any issue that plagues our personal community plagues our larger community. And excuse me for getting emotional, but it's just like, I'm going back and
Oh, no.
It was hard, man.
Yeah, don't apologize. I have so many questions and thank you so much for sharing all of that. It was really, thank you all for sharing that. And I definitely It was really powerful. And I definitely have a lot of questions. Starting with
hold on, Blakely. Before you say your question, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Larry, I feel you, bruh. I'm 45 years old, and I don't know what my mother and father look like. I come from closed adoption. I feel you. I was the black little girl that was thrown away. But bro, we here. We here together. And they don't expect us to be here. They expect us to be dead or in prison. And we are here. And we are standing together and we are standing up. And please know that me and Candii got you.
And Chris.
We do whatever we can.
I got you.
To help. I love you. You are my brother. You are my little brother. From this day forward, you are me and T.S. Candii's little brother. We understand. This is why I fight so hard for these babies. Because this is what we live with. A haunted childhood. And then we have someone like Diane come along, and say she's gonna help us and fight for us. And she hurts us more, Chris. That's what she did to babies. He's a baby. She was supposed to help him. Diana's a millionaire. She's supposed to help this baby out of her pockets. She was supposed to help him. This is the harm that she has caused.
Man.
She's supposed to have hope. Don't give a fuck about no man. She's always been messed up for us. She was supposed to be different.
Right. I'm lost for words.
It was hard for me to speak up about my story, man, because
don't be sorry.
I'm not even sorry. It's just I don't know how to be unapologetic. That's why I'm shaking right now speaking to y'all. But it's just like I know T.S. Candii and Tanesha and can relate to me because I just personally feel like all I wanted to do was jump on this campaign, and she told me that she's gonna do the best that she can to find me secure housing, and it was a lie. Like it was a lie, and it was just like I needed the job because I'm in a homeless shelter and I don't have a voucher. I just got denied from Section 8, and there's no resources for young youth that are homeless, that are houseless. There's no resources at all for us. And this is what Diane doesn't know. This is what no mayor candidate knows about. Nobody is testifying in courtrooms at Albany and at the Capitol. And I never did that, but I always wanted to do that. And it's just like, it hurts me because it's like, I see why Tanesha and T.S. Candii do so much to give laptops back to their communities, because I don't even have a laptop. I got expelled from college for organizing a student walkout, literally because there was mold contamination at my school that was getting myself and other youth sick, and nobody held administration accountable just as much as I did. And it's like, I always just feel like us as an activist or as an organizer, we get the shittiest end of the stick. I don't care what nobody says, it is a target for me. Like having to be in rooms with just white folks, I feel targeted. I feel like every Black person in America is haunted right now. Because with everything that's going on with police brutality, with human sex trafficking, with gun violence in Black communities, and white folks love to say that there's Black on Black crime, and that's not true. And then the Asian hate that is going on right now, they're putting it on Black people. Like all of this, our oppression is real. And it's just like, I just wanted Diane to be there, not just for me, but to help me get housing, help me not become abandoned. Like I've been abandoned for too long. And I feel like because I've been abandoned for too long, my mental illnesses are getting worse and worse, and therapy cannot be it. I need more than that. Like it's times I wanted to go into a psych ward because of the stuff that has been that I've been through on this campaign.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with I've been in psych wards. So no shame about being in psych wards. Okay. I've been in a few myself. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I really appreciate what you said. You are so correct about ACS. It is a garbage organization. And you are also correct about saying that no one talks about it. You're right. That was a really great point I wanted to mention that you said. No one talks about kids. Nobody talks about youth. Like every once in a while, you'll hear candidates say, oh, we care about trans youth or we care about Black youth, when of course they don't. But you never hear them talk about youth at all. Like kids are totally, and young teens are just completely just not in the conversation at all. Like it's like they don't exist. And so that's a really good point that you brought up. We don't talk about foster care. We don't talk about children that are left to be, that are abused and abused by the system, abused by their parent, not to mention the reason why they were put in foster care in the first place and how these families are destroyed. I mean, it's really just not talked about at all. And so my kind of follow-up question to that, which is, and it really hurts hearing everything that you went through, and is that, how did it make you feel, all of you? I'm really like, to hear that she claimed that questioning what she did to all of you was an attack on her as a woman of color.
Right. Anybody can answer that.
I want to let the Black woman speak because, like,
She does what a lot of people do. A lot of people co-opt or use makeup to make themselves darker, get horrible wigs to try to, you know, have hair like us and, you know, get applauded for something I've been ridiculed for my whole life. Being a dark-skinned Black woman. So when she stands up and says, I'm a Black woman too, no, you're not, Diane. Because you could never, just like IAMQUEENS share stuff with her, thousands of dollars go through my hands. But that doesn't stop me from living uptown and having a landlord that won't fix the gas leak in my wall since 2019, October. Con Ed came and turned that off. Okay, my landlord refuses to fix it. So what does that mean? That means I scrape and scribe to make sure that my kids eat 3 meals a day out my pocket. And when thousands of dollars go through my hands, giving laptops to children. Diane knew about my situation. She could have helped me. She told me to go to the Tenants Association. That's what she told me. So the hurt that we feel is like, I have no more hope for politicians. I will not no longer, if you're going to get into office or whatever, please understand that we are not friends, that we can't, except for Kristen. Kristen is my friend. But please understand, from now going forward, what Diane has did is she's opened my eyes even more. Like, I know that we had token Negroes, you know, I know that they're all around me. I have them all here in Harlem. They make up the whole political, that's what we're trying to dismantle right now. But what she has taught me is, like, they will say anything. They will step on anybody, even the babies. And it's like, I should have knew, because, like, even when I had the conversation with Chris was like, sis, she never offered to put you on the payroll.
Facts. I was like,
and I was like, no. And Danny will tell you. Danny will tell you.
Wait, you weren't a hired employee?
No. I did everything because I want freedom for my people. And it's not going to happen with the people that we have in office. Because if that was the case, it would have been happened. We all live by policies, and it's the politicians that put them into place.
No, totally. But, like, that's, like, mind-blowing to me that you were paid.
Diane.
Gosh.
I want to call her Auntie Diane.
That's so true, because I met Tanesha at the candle lighting, and literally, if there's anything I can remember, was that she would scream Diane's name. She would always say, Diane, we are here for you. That candle lighting was for a day where we just wanted to just hold space to give a tribute to those who are not with us today for anything that was going on. And Tanesha, first thing she said was, you know, Diane, I know you say that this isn't a political thing and it's not about you, but all of us in this circle was brave enough to tell how much we love Diane and how much we embraced her. Like, we embraced her as a family, and we all looked at each other as family. And to see how things can get so like in a blink of an eye. You know what I mean? How she could just turn her backs on us, because that's what she did. She literally turned her backs on us, and I just felt like she co-opted the movement. She co-opted Black Lives Matter, and and the crazy part is she never really said she was a Black woman. Like we had to make her like stand up for herself to say that. And you know, it's like how.
But she shouldn't say it. She shouldn't say it because she is not a Black woman. She does not know what it's like to be a Black presenting, dark-skinned woman. And she shouldn't have said that, because then she got into her, she knew how to fix us. And I told her at that visual, if you're not who you say you are, I don't care what everybody else do, but I'm gonna hold you accountable. I said, you turn out to be a politician, I'm gonna hold you. And let me tell you something. People in the education field, people that are around me all the time, have shown me who they are, because they still riding for her, knowing the harm that she's caused to Black and brown people, Black and brown children. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that. How are you fighting for education for everyone, and the Black presenting people and brown people that she done built her platform off of are telling you that they harmed her, and y'all talking about sabotage?
Right. That was actually one of the questions I asked her, because I saw the tweets about how she had fired Black women. And one of the first things I said to her, or one of the questions I asked her was, because initially when I saw it, I immediately sided with the employees, because my instinct is to side with organizers and side with employees. So I immediately was like, you're a union buster, fuck you. So then I was like, doing that. I kind of just took the side of theirs. And like we mentioned in the beginning, I kind of backed down from that once Chris was like, no, you got to listen. She's a great person. And I was like, okay, I'll
because she used me. She texted me.
And also right. And I also backed down from it because I was like, you know what? Chris is probably right. I probably don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not there on the ground, like with her, like Chris was. So I kind of like backed down from that. But that was my initial reaction, was to be like, I'm going to side with the organizers. I'm going to side with the people who are trying to form the union and the employees, because that's my instinct. And she's probably just another politician. So then I asked her when we were on her call, I said, why then did you fire these Black women? These were Black women that came to you on your campaign and were telling you that you caused them harm. Why? And then that was when she said, that's not true. That's not what happened. And I think
she told us that they stopped working, and that's why.
Yes. Yeah.
So piggybacking off of that,
she told me when she was going to fire, she said, sis, you're going to be mad, and I'm going to fire, because I'm going to fire some people. Yeah.
So I know I want to bring in Dan on that. Dan, when that happened, what did you do? Yeah, I know it's a lot.
Yeah, I just want to, I'm probably just stating the obvious here, but none of us chose to be here in this moment of time. We were all making a mayor who still has the best policies out of all of these candidates, simply just because we wrote them. These policies came from the directly impacted communities of which she claimed to represent. That's part of the reason why they were so damn good. And that is the power of the grassroots movement that has uplifted her campaign. And so basically, when I first heard, I actually want to respond to a claim that of Diane firing these Black women, our leaders, because they chose not to work. The reality is that they could not do their work because they were so knee deep in the grievance process of hearing the harms that had been done and unattended to, and unresponded to, and they tried desperately in their powers that they had in the campaign to reach out to Diane. And they did a couple of times where Diane told them that this would be met with action. And then at the end of the day, there was no action. And listen, Diane is authentic and she can be very vulnerable in situations, and she is very charming, and that makes for a great candidate. But the reality is that her inactions spoke way louder to us than her words did. Because when I found out that she had fired our democratically elected union leaders on the 27th, when we were going down there for a literal all hands meeting that she had called, I texted her immediately. And this was sadly one of the last correspondence that I've had directly with her. And I said, Diane, you have the best organizers in New York City. Please rescind the termination letters of our democratically elected union leaders. This is union busting. And she responded with, this is not union busting. And I begged her in my next text message saying, please, like, I am begging you, because this is not going to be good, right? Chris, you know exactly what this is. Blakely, you know exactly what this is. And Diane has claimed multiple times that she did not know that they were our elected, democratically elected union leaders and organizers. And the reason why that claim is not true is because we have on audio tape in that meeting where one of our elected leaders told Diane, I am not speaking on behalf of myself, I am speaking on behalf of this entire group. This entire collective is the word that she chose. So point blank to Diane's face. Then the very next day, I told this to you, Chris, that we had to have a rapid response, a high level rapid response meeting because our campaign manager had resigned and press was starting to nibble at what was happening. They were starting to assume what was happening in the grand scheme of things. That's what press does when you don't give them enough information.
Exactly.
And so our democratically elected union leaders, 2 of them were invited into that meeting. And that's funny only because their titles were in engagement and in field. And so that to me says that Diane knew who they were and how we wanted them to be at the table to continue to co-create this campaign and to clear of what the structures were, because people didn't know who to ask for what. And then a day later, she fired them without reason. And unfortunately, we walked into that 4 o'clock meeting together and we said, Diane, we are going to walk out if you do not rehire our union leaders. And she decided not to, so we walked out of there. The very next day, the offices locks were changed, the passcodes were changed, and then a week later, all of us lost access to our emails. So even if we tried to come back, we could not do work. We did not know who leadership was, that Diane agreed that we could co-create with her. And so it created a very, very big challenge to where what was said, and Diane came to that meeting on the 25th, and she listened to people's grievances, and she said that she would take that to account, that she would be accountable for that. But once again, her inactions spoke a lot louder than her words. And unfortunately, when our democratically elected union leaders were fired, we gave Diane 18 hours from when we walked out to simply just be like, you know what, I made a mistake.
Right.
And like that's one of the things that like we thought was possible of Diane, because like she represented authenticity, she represented realness, she represented vulnerability, and she didn't have to sit through that 2-hour meeting of people saying what their grievances were to her face and telling her how her inactions basically was the capstone of all of this harm, and that she could have acted earlier, and leadership could have acted earlier, but were unable to do so because she largely had the hiring and firing last say. Yeah, sorry, this whole thing is obviously very, very frustrating.
No, I understand.
So I just want to add that when we had spoken to the Campaign Workers Guild, and they recommended 30 days for a union contract. They gave us a recommendation. They're like, hey, if you just fill out a small memorandum of agreement, basically a small contract, it doesn't have to be a whole thing because other campaigns already paid for their staffers' healthcare.
Right.
That we would just get compensation, especially for our lowest wage workers. And one of our other demands was that if there is a field event and a neighborhood organizer or a field captain of adult age cannot be there, then that event is canceled, because we know for a fact that Diane's base is made up of energetic young people and minors. And that sort of attests to what IAMQUEENS was talking about earlier. So we basically were having these conversations with Diane. She made claims recently that we denied getting a mediator, that we would not negotiate with them. But the reality is that we offered a mediator on the 6th of June, because we were having a hard time finding a lawyer ourselves, simply just because a lot of them conflict out because their firms are in one way or another working with another mayoral campaign.
Right.
And also the biggest kicker of this is like all of these other campaigns would have looked fucking stupid, and I'm sorry for my language.
No,
I apologize.
Oh no, go ahead.
All of these other mayoral campaigns would have looked dumb if Diane's campaign would have been able to unionize and successfully sign even a small contract, because they have been sitting on war chests for almost a year now, and they themselves, with all of their labor endorsements, have not unionized their campaigns. And the reason why we did it was not malicious. We wanted to protect our people.
That's right.
We weren't even asking for health care, even though trauma had been done on this campaign and harm had been caused. We were asking for things that were in Brad Lander's citywide contract that he's running on for comptroller. So none of these things we believed were illegal. We know that Diane's that her legal counsel and the statement that she came out with was suggesting that things that we had been asking for were illegal. We asked her and her counsel to let us know what they were talking about, what they were referencing to as illegal was. And then we asked them to create a counter proposal, and that we were not ready to meet with their legal counsel because we had not secured legal counsel of our own, but we were willing to set up a mediator, someone who has incredibly good faith, who is an attorney who actually vouched for Diane for the WFP endorsement. So we were trying to move these conversations forward, and what we have been getting hit with, unfortunately, is spin and messaging from someone who has a huge platform compared to the 45 plus workers and union members that she fired just yesterday. So if she did not know that her firing of our union leaders on the 27th of May was union busting, I don't know what the hell you call this anymore. And all we simply want is just to be paid out to our contracts, because when we received our letters saying that we were fired, that we were no longer employed, and that the 9th was our last day of payment in our contracts, it states that either side needs 2 weeks notice. And this is not 2 weeks notice. So she is not living up to her contract. We have actually, as of recently, filed a board complaint with the NLRB. And we hope, our hope is Diane will choose to do the right thing and not hide behind fear, and not hide behind ego, and not hide behind the fact that this campaign is about her, because it was never about her. This campaign was about all of us. And as a white man in this campaign, I will once again step back to the directly impacted communities that this campaign represented and represents in the policy. And I will give space to people like Larry and people like T.S. Candii and people like Tanesha to continue this conversation because they are the true people that we all have been fighting for.
Well, T.S. Candii's face expressions while you were just saying that last part were kind of cracking me up.
Dan, I appreciate you too, because you DM me and you were once again truthful and honest the whole time from the day I met you back in March. And I appreciate everything you just shared with us.
Yes, I do.
There's only one thing left for me to do. And that is to right now, I rescind my endorsement of Diane Morales. I can't. There's no way I'm going to sleep tonight with my comrades here going through all this distress. There is no way. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry again, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been talking to her. I was texting her for the last 48 hours. And I told her, I said, I'm not going to pull my endorsement, because I'm like, that's just not, I'm not going to do it. I'm still going to bring on these workers, these staffers, these organizers. She didn't want me to do it. But she wanted me to bring on just the staff, not the organizers, not Tanesha, not T.S. Candii. I said, I'm going to do it anyway. And I said, I won't pull my endorsement though. But there's no way that I can stand here and listen to my comrades, my brothers and sisters. There's no way. I have to rescind my endorsement. I will let her know once this is wrapped up. I will do the right thing. Send her a message, say, hey, look, I can't do that. There's no way. I'm with the people.
This is what your work is built on, Chris. This is what your work is literally built on. And the fact that she's been up your ass for the last 48 hours, because the video that you did before you knew everything that you knew, and they was using words like sabotage or whatever, she was sending that around to everyone. And I want to point out something that Dan didn't say. First of all, me and Dan have been in conversation for a long time because of the work that I was doing and what I was bringing to the table without getting paid. Am I right, Dan? Am I right?
You're damn right.
That's first of all. Second of all, the platform she ran on to uplift, to power to the people, she didn't want to give the people the power. She wanted to keep all the power for herself. And the platform she ran on, people power, she underestimated. That's why, but in the back of her head, she know how powerful Tanesha Grant and T.S. Candii is out here. She understands that the people believe in us because we are for the people, because we take care of the people every day. Unlike Diane in her cushy brownstone in Brooklyn with her family that I ain't never had. Okay? With her white passing children. Don't make me go off, because Chris, listen, in another day, it would be a street fight, because what she did,
I know.
What she did was mistreat my people, and I will not have that. I will not have that. And if she thought that I wasn't going to stand up and speak for my people, she was out of her mind. And that's what she was banking on. She was banking on us to be politically correct. That is racist. That is why we are where we are now. I will never be politically correct. That's why I will never be a politician, because I will always stand for my people. And she tried to serve us up like a dish.
Yeah, I can't imagine, Chris. We would like the idea that we would just be like, oh no, we're not gonna have the organizers on. Like that's like the whole point.
I'm telling you, I
That's
I
crazy.
was torn. I'm like, what is going on? But
she
every
act like I
day,
ain't been in the like me and Chris ain't been in the streets together. Like we
right,
ain't been in DC at Jeff Bezos' house with the
right,
Gauntlet.
right. I was like,
I'm connected to everyone, but she didn't know. And I keep saying, when you connected to the people, when you have power and you're broke, your power don't come
still on
from
New York State
money.
unemployment. I'm right with y'all.
From the people in your community, because the people in your community know you will die for them, know that you will give them your last dollar. That's something special, baby. And I will always be that person in my community.
Right. And yeah, this is, it's a terrible situation, but this is a beautiful conversation right here. This needed to happen, and this needed to be heard. I'm so glad that you all agreed to join us and share your stories and share your energy.
It's hard too because it's so enraging and also like heartbreaking. Just listening to I Am Queens, like just what you went through,
but he needed to do that.
I appreciate y'all because I feel like what nobody knows is I'm still going through this right now.
Right. That's what I
feel like I'm such a strong person, and it's hard for me to see that in myself. But I've been fighting for housing alone, and I still have. And I know that I have TS Candii and Tanesha now, and I'm so grateful for both of y'all, and I'm grateful for Dan. I'm grateful for Chris. I'm grateful for all y'all. But I want y'all to know that my story is just one out of thousands. Like there's thousands of kids right now that are in the streets. And what I want to let y'all know is that it's 67% of homeless youth right now in New York City, all across the 5 boroughs.
No, and that's the thing that
no politician is speaking about this. And what hurts me the most is nobody knows this, but I live in a homeless shelter in Chelsea, 202 West 24th Street. I don't care leaking my address because I want people to pull up so they can see how we're getting treated. New York City spends over $3 billion on homeless shelters, covenant homes, group homes, children's centers, and orphanages, whatever, you know what I mean? And homeless youth programs like 131s or whatever, right? $3 billion when, excuse me, oh, my light came off, but $3 billion, right? They can invest that $3 billion for affordable housing, not just for some, but for all. Because the affordable housing that's out right now is gentrification. White folks are taking all of that affordable housing right now. And I'm talking about, you have young folks like me that can't even get accepted for Section 8. Why? Because I'm a single man household. I am not a pregnant woman. I don't have no children right now. Don't have no type of mental illness of like schizophrenia or any type of medical conditions. So guess what? I don't get accepted for Section 8 because I'm not even an elderly person. I'm not even somebody like in their 50s or 60s. Then public housing, the list is so long. So I'm just so grateful to share my story with each and every one of y'all. And the only thing I could just tell y'all is just to continue to be a voice, not just for me, but for the voiceless, because there's thousands of foster care kids right now that need a home, that have been abandoned. And, we're in shelters, we're homeless, we have no mutual aid access. And, in my community now where I live at in my homeless shelter, I actually just helped out with somebody recently to create a community fridge because there's no churches around, there's no nothing. And it's just like, it's sad because it's like, a lot of people feel that homelessness cannot go into youth. There are young people right now that have nowhere to go that are sleeping on the Brooklyn Bridge because I slept with them before.
It's not, it's talked about almost like it's just like people who are mentally ill or addicts or people who are veterans. That's how it's always discussed. And it's just, it's so enraging, especially because the city is so wealthy. It's just like beyond enraging. Like sometimes I get so mad. Oh my gosh, I'm like getting like enraged. Like my blood pressure's going up.
We all got statistics. There's 118 billionaires that live in the state of New York.
Yes. Not only that, but the
vacant apartments in New York City to house every homeless person.
No, but here is the thing that's also really enraging is that the quote unquote affordable housing, you have to make like $85,000 to even get into.
You either make too much or you make too little.
Yes.
It's not affordable. Listen, I give babies laptops, black and brown babies, laptops that the DOE will never, ever give to them. Not one politician has donated to my fundraiser. Not one politician has came and said, here's $10,000, get more laptops. But HP came to me. But not none of these politicians that work in this city make 6 figures in this city, Chris, have tried to help me in our laptop initiative. What does that tell you about how much they care about the babies, the black and brown babies, the foster babies? Because we know the foster babies are black and brown babies.
I think that that's one of the things that's so like really insanely enraging and also just like crazy making is that this city is run on every level of by Democrats. By these supposed liberals who care about, they're the ones who have the signs that say Black Lives Matter in their fucking windows, that say Trans Lives Matter in their fucking windows. This city is completely run and operated by liberals and Democrats. And yet this is the kind of shit we still get. They wouldn't even get the New York Health Act out of committee. It was shot down again today. And it's just the idea that people are living in homeless shelters, like IAMQUEENS is living in a homeless shelter, cannot get healthcare, cannot get affordable housing. It's just so fucking unacceptable. And it really just breaks my heart that Diane was working with you, that you were working on her campaign and that she made promises to you and didn't fulfill those promises.
Not even just to me, to I think everybody, because I have a friend who I won't name her name. She was on the Queens team with me, and she was an undocumented immigrant. And like her mom works at a laundromat, and her mom doesn't even make that much. She was on Diane's campaign because she was helping pay mommy's rent. And it was like when we didn't get paid on the campaign and we had to fight to get paid, we had to get on administration on the campaign, press people to get our paychecks, which we shouldn't have to do. And we got people
militant and aggressive because you was trying to get your money. And you ain't even gotta say this. I'll say it. Whitney Hugh is not coming up smelling like roses because she was one of them that was calling the workers fucking militant and aggressive. So all of that they wrote in political lies. She caused harm too.
Right. Wow. I just want to know I'll tell you all, whatever I can do to support. I already told Tanesha, count me in for number 10 laptop giveaway. I know I'm knee deep in this Amazon unionizing drive, but whatever I could do to help you, IAMQUEENS, TS Candii, Tanesha, you already know, one phone call away. Dan, I already told you, you already got a job. I need you to come help organize these Amazon workers right here in Staten Island. We can still make history. Reach out to your comrades, the staffers that also lost their jobs. 40, 50 of y'all, come help me out. Let's help each other out. This is it right here. This is what community look like. And Tanesha, we take care of ourselves. You know how we ride. So I just met the two, TS Candii and IAMQUEENS, but I feel like y'all already my brothers and sisters, and whatever y'all need from me, whatever you want me to advocate for, to put out there in the media, whatever I could do to amplify y'all message, y'all movement, your grief, whatever I can do, please don't hesitate. Tanesha, you can give them my number, whatever y'all need me to do. I will try my best to do that from here on out. And
we appreciate you, Chris, but
I appreciate y'all.
First of all, people ain't know that you was my brother anyway, so
They know now. I was like, let me call.
Okay,
called your endorsement. Hold on.
So I thank you for bringing us on. We appreciate you. I will be reaching out to you so me, you, and TS Candii can coordinate and get IAMQUEENS some permanent housing. I think that if we don't do it, then nobody will. And we need to help them.
It's already in the works. I'm going to get on the hotline.
Sadly, I
Queens.
know that. Well, now that I'm fired, I think the biggest step that I think I want to tell everybody on this podcast and for any viewer that's watching this is helping me find a job, because I don't have a job right now, and
Chris just said you got a job with him in Amazon. With
Oh,
Amazon union workers. He just said that.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it. Okay.
Oh no, yeah. We need you. We need you, brother. We'll look. We gonna talk. Give my number, and we gonna talk. Dan,
Okay, gotcha.
Dan, let's coordinate this. Dan, I need you. I appreciate. Last before we close out, last comments for the audience, for the world to hear, for Diane to hear. I'm gonna start with you, Tanesha. Last comment.
I'll go last.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
a closer.
TS. You want me? Yeah.
For me, I would like to say that I learned a lot, in my first, arena of this whole political game, and actually being a nonprofit nonprofit organization, and and speaking with a lot of people, and they informing me of really who I am. So I guess for me it's just I'm not going to endorse anyone in a while. I'm going to continue to work in policies, which is what half of what I do, on top of mutual aid and cash assistance to our community. So I guess for me is accountability and responsibility is all that I ask for these Black electors that are running on grassroots or any elective, especially these Black electives. So I'm really proud and happy of if we Black folks don't call out the Black electives, who gonna do it? If we as Black folks don't check the Black electives, who gonna do it? If we the Black folks don't dismantle and remove and get the elected officials that are selling us out, then who gonna do it? If we the Black folks don't continue, if we the Black folks don't stand up against these bloodsuckers, who's gonna do it? So I said it to say that we stand up for ourselves, and we stand up for the community, and we're going to stand up, and we're going to call out. We're going to call you in, and if you don't do what you need to do, then we're going to call you out. And I've been knowing that Diane was she was selling us out a long time ago. That's why I was pulled my endorsement and immediately told Tanesha that she was trash. And that's when we had the conversation, when she told me that I was challenging her integrity because she was actually running off my name and off my platform without me in those areas. So I see now she can't go in these LGBT arenas and get LGBT money, because she can't say, oh well, we got the endorsement from Black Trans Nation New York, and that's the only Black trans organization here in the state of New York, and really in all 50 states. So it's for me, it's I hope this is a lesson learned for all other politicians and individuals that are going to run to know that we the Black folks, we the Black folks is going to correct you, and we want to hold you accountable to your bullshit, and we want to hold you accountable to what you say. And if you fail us, then guess what? This is why we're here. You're a failure, and we're gonna let you know to your face you are a failure.
Right. Appreciate you. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Chris and Blakely, for having me on today. This has definitely been a very challenging week for all of us on here, for sure. I don't want to necessarily have final words for Diane. I just sort of want to make comments on what the future looks like, because what happened on Diane's campaign did not just simply happen on her campaign alone. It happens on many, many, many campaigns. And as y'all are familiar, we had at least 35 city council seats that opened up as well. So the concept of worker exploitation, it happens on those city council races. The concept of sexual harassment, it does happen on these larger citywide comptroller and mayoral races. And the thing to do, the tool to use to be able to try to reduce that type of harm and that type of worker exploitation is going to be in the next year or so by working to pass legislation to ensure that any campaign that is using public funds, that it must have unionized staff, because there is your grievance process, there is your equitable pay, there is your health care, and like after this, a lot of us are going to need some mental health. I know I am looking forward to seeing a therapist after this, because this was definitely heartbreaking. But having a union is so very important to the structure and the stability of not only campaigns, but of all businesses. And so that is going to be a mission moving forward, because in 2 years with redistricting, everyone's going to have an election again. And we want to make sure that that harm can be reduced wherever it veers its head, and accountability can be had, and that people are protected by their unions. And that also goes for the Amazon workers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure.
Thanks,
Thank
Dan.
you. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. I am Queens.
My last comments and concerns and remarks to Diane is to just remember your purpose and your voice. And I say that because we all looked at you as somebody as if we didn't want to call the cops on you. Like, we wanted you to actually hold yourself accountable. And still to this day, I have not seen an apology, a public apology to every member of the campaign, every organizer, everybody who volunteered. Apology to everyone, just apologize. You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand how far you can go with that, but I think I'm also afraid of her apologizing and doing it again, and I'm a human being, I'm not a perfect person. I cry. I feel like I'm going to fail sometimes, but I definitely just know of the morals I stand on. And I just feel that transformative justice is what I always push for. And if we can't even have transformative justice, like how myself and other organizers was in a room with her explaining our concerns, and we all get fired, we all basically get terminated, then what happens when she's actually a mayor for office? You know what I mean? Like, you can't even represent your staff, but you're trying to represent the city, and that's a big thing. And I also want her to understand that there's youth right now that are losing their lives, that are getting killed, murdered, raped, enslaved, and literally fighting on behalf of her, like fighting for everyone. And I personally want to be fully embraced. Like, I feel every foster child should be fully embraced, because we have been marginalized, put down. Black trans women are getting killed, and their life expectancy is at age 35, and no politician is speaking about that. And a lot of Black trans women are in the shelter with me, are sleeping on the streets, are into sex work. My queer brothers, my straight brothers, like my brothers and sisters everywhere, like literally have nowhere to go, nowhere to sleep. Sleeping on the buses, sleeping on the trains, and sleeping on the Brooklyn Bridge, and even sleeping in parks. And this is not even being spoken about. So to my message to Diane is to remember what you signed up for. At the end of the day, like, this is community. And the same way we put you into office or even try to push for you is the same way that you can see community turn on you when you do, you take advantage of us. And God don't like ugly. And I strongly believe that, karma is a bitch.
Thank you.
Tanesha?
So yeah, I've learned lately that I have to say this. if Black presenting African descendants of enslaved people are not in leadership is a problem. And Diane, what you did was try to take that from us. Like everyone else, if you do not have the representation of the descendant of the enslaved people in this country, you're doing something wrong. And if you try to use my people to get into office, I'm coming for you. The same way I came for Diane, yes, I was for her until I wasn't, until I seen that she was part of the white systematic system that harms and traumatizes my people every day. And I'm tired of seeing it in every space that I am in. Again, you will not erase the Black woman out of everything. You will not do that. You will not erase the Black woman while trying to be that Black woman. But couldn't walk a minute in that Black woman's shoes, honey, because you would break. So I don't run for nothing else here, honey, is what I would tell you. I'm totally disgusted with what she did and how she did it and how she used Black women and brown people and Black trans people and Black queer people and brown queer people and just totally use my people. I don't, and Diane knows me. That's why she didn't want you to have me on the show, Chris.
I know that she knows you.
What you get is what you see is what you get with me.
Right.
And I am always going to be unapologetic about the fact that I need these politicians to center the people that have been marginalized. Stop using us. If you're one of them people that's going to use the Black struggle to get into office, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you with the whole community behind me because we're tired. We're tired. We're tired. I'm tired of people getting happy when they say, Chris, this is the first Black woman to do this. This is the first Black man to do this. You are insulting me. You are insulting my people. You are insulting my ancestors. You are insulting my elders. And like Diane and a whole bunch of other people I see around here, I'm letting you know, I'm calling you out when you use Black liberation and try to take the Black out of it. I'm seeing it in all of these circles, Chris. Everybody talking about Black liberation. Everybody talking about freedom. Everybody talking about Black fundamental issues. But the people talking about it ain't Black. The people talking about it don't look like me, Chris. Don't look like my daughter. Don't look like T.S. Candii. Don't look like IAMQUEENS. Y'all gonna stop it. We do not need white people or people using the term of Afro anything to tell our stories for us. That's why there's people like me here. That's why I don't get a paycheck. That's why I didn't ask Diane for a paycheck, because it is selfless work and it is for the fucking community. Because I am tired and I need my children and my grandchildren to be free. This is not a job. This is a lifestyle. So if you don't have Black representation and you're talking about anything that has to do with liberation, you're saying words like liberation and inclusive and power to the people, I'm coming for you. Because what you are doing is co-opting a movement that is built in Black pain, and I will not have it. So if you are in the education field, be on notice. If you don't have a Black presenting parent at the table, a Black presenting child, it's not one or the other, it's both. If there are not Black people in high positions in these campaigns, leading these campaigns, I'm not here for it. I'm not here for none of that, Chris. Nobody knows more about getting Black liberation than Black people. And once we free, we all free. Black presenting people, not people that want to be Black without the struggle of being Black. Because my son don't go outside because he knows he's a Black man that can be shot dead. He knows that it's place and time and location for him. This is not a game for us. We know this. The 3 organizers you see, I'm connected to everybody you have on this call, including yourself, except Blakely. Hi. I know you now. Now I'm connected to you. But I'm the only one that is connected to everyone on this call right now, Chris. I'm not playing. It's about Black liberation. And if you're a politician that's trying to use the pain and suffering that I help people with daily, if you're a politician that's not talking to organizers like me, TS, Candii, and IAMQUEENS, we don't want you. Because nobody knows what's going on with the people more than the people, Chris, that's taking care of the people. Thank you for having me on.
Big facts. Mic drop. You know, I just want to say I got your back. So shit, whatever way you go, I go. You know that. You know this shit. Gang all day.
Yeah, thank you, Tanesha. That was really great.
Thank you all of you.
Yeah.
All of you for joining us.
Thank you all so much. I really appreciate hearing all of your perspective. It was so important. Really important to hear, and funny and enlightening. Yes. You're all great.
It was everything that needed to be heard.
Yeah.
Powerful. This is power right here.
This is power. This is people power. And this finest power.
Right. And like, let's make our own media, because when we call the media out, they don't come anyway. Like when the organizers stood with the workers at Diane's office, the media did not come.
Mm-hmm.
We were the media.
Even
they didn't want to hear us.
Yeah.
So thank you. We need more Black media, Chris. So you keep.
This is exactly what this is for.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, and y'all go donate to the Harlem Laptop Initiative. We buying babies computers. We want to buy all the babies, and we got you, IAMQUEENS. We want to buy all the babies, all the Black babies in New York City, their own computers. So if you're running around talking about Black Lives Matter, let me tell you something. Black babies matter, and the next 2 generations of babies are Black. So go donate so we can make sure that the future doctors and the future architects and the future astronomers and all of them have a good computer, a quality computer to do their work on for nothing, because we, the community, take care of the community. We take care of us.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have my producer's gonna put y'all links, whatever you want me to donate to. We'll put it up in this episode for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell all the self-righteous white people I know that instead of talking about Black lives.
Oh, donate the Harlem Laptop Fundraiser, the GoFundMe. You're right there. Go donate.
I was also
going to march. I'll march for you, but just go drop that money so we can get these Black and brown babies the technology that they deserve.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Queen.
Absolutely.
See y'all.
Amen. To Tanesha on that. I just wanted to ask Blakely and Chris. I also have a GoFundMe that's up to get secure housing as a foster care youth activist.
Send it.
This GoFundMe is literally for a studio or a 1-bedroom apartment, because that's how long I've been fighting to get housing, and it's been over a year. I aged out at 21, homeless. I've been in the shelter for over a year, and it's been a year and a month. And the GoFundMe has been going pretty good, but I'm trying to get like white folks that are like in positions of power or rich to donate, because it's truly insane, man. Like how nobody really understands housing.
It's truly insane.
Oh, I don't really. Oh, just to point out. Yeah, just to point out, I don't actually. Yeah, just to point out, I don't actually really know anybody rich. I'm not friends with them. I just like to shame other white people on social media by pointing out that they talk about Black issues a lot and then they don't give any money. So I'll post and be like, hey, hello, how do you do, fellow white people? I know you're talking about Black people a lot. How about you put your fucking money where your mouth is, you goddamn cheapskates?
I like to shame Black elite people that used to live in the hood. Like Puff Daddy and Jay-Z. No, I name drop, baby.
I like to drop names too.
Y'all don't come back. Y'all can research. Like none of them, Chris, none of them elite people. None of them.
I already know this shit. That's a whole nother conversation.
Money in that GoFundMe and help me help the people that they not gonna come out of their mansion houses to help.
I know they live all over here in Jersey. I know.
Or the politicians that they elect and they think like, oh, we're gonna try to run, a person who is a person of color or black, and then we're gonna have them vote all in white interests.
Yeah. Everybody share y'all GoFundMe.
Yeah, send us all the links. I'm Queens, and we'll put everybody send your links, and we'll put them in the description box and in the on YouTube and in all the links. And I mean, I'll definitely share and shame everybody.
Yeah, it's going viral.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I know any rich white. I'm about to say, look, I just know.
Chris knows. Remember, Chris knows. I got in trouble when we had like a previous co-host because I was making fun of white feminists, and I really offended this girl. She didn't want to be on the show anymore.
Yeah, but look, like all I know is I don't know if I know rich white people, but
woman. I want to stay home and cook the bacon. All right. I'm tired of being strong. Okay. Feminist who? That's another thing that divided black people. We want to run over there.
Hey,
we are not black feminists. We don't know nothing about that feminist movement, honey. That's co-ops, if you ask me. I know my history.
Yeah. I just like making fun of white feminists. I don't know the history of black feminists. I can only make fun of the people I know.
No, I don't know the history of feminism, period. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't shit that black women were already had. That's why I'm stupid.
All right, we got it. We got the
Yes, I'm sorry. I know I could keep talking to Tanesha for a long time.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking to Cass. I was like, hey, we got the right.
Yeah, we'll put them up. You are all fantastic. You are
Chris though, but I will share your number with Candii and IAMQUEENS.
Yeah, whatever y'all need me to do, I'm there. If I'm available, I'm there. I'm out on the ground. For clarity, I'm out on the ground in Staten Island every day.
No.
So
and that's what and that's what you have to rely on. I remember when I was homeless and when I became homeless, I was told, oh, just go to sign up for a women's shelter. There's plenty. Because I had to, I'd lost my apartment, and then I go to find women's shelters, and there were none. There were none that were actually taking people. Yeah. And I was like,
populated.
Yeah, I was like, where are these supposed women's shelters? Where are all these women's shelters? And then there were none. And then I was like, wait a minute. And I just found out through my experience of being homeless that the system that they claimed was for homeless people, homeless women, homeless single women, also addicts, because I am an addict in recovery. And I had just gotten sober at the time, that the entire thing is complete horseshit. That there was no system. And I was like, wow, you guys are fucking liars. There really isn't a system at all.
So much money. Where that money going?
Yeah. I'm like, where's all this money? And then they're like, oh.
Where's the money going? Because even Tanesha, I know you're my fellow comrade in DSA. And I'm a part of DSA. And I stand for socialism and radicalism very heavy. So DSA
fuck capitalism.
Let me tell you guys something that's so crazy. DSA has a working housing group. Like it's a housing group, but it's controlled by all white people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DSA in Brooklyn is just like a white people.
Honey, that is why I am the black presenting black dark-skinned woman co-chair of the Racial Working Justice Group, the Racial Justice Working Group. That is why anything that defund the police coalition, defund the NYPD does has our stamp on it. That's why I already know. But infiltration also goes both fucking ways, honey. They have resources that the fuck we need, and they're running on a black platform. They get them fucking resources.
Yeah, I had an issue when I was going to the DSA in Brooklyn, because it was like a bunch of white people just like fighting about, they started talking about black issues. They didn't know anything about black issues. And then they started fighting over pronouns. And I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yes. And I think
I'm not doing this. I'm like, you people aren't serious. No, you're not serious. You're not serious. I'm sorry. You're not serious. If you're not serious about doing things like getting people laptops for black children, you want to fight about your goddamn pronouns, you're not a serious person.
Wow. Look.
Sorry.
No,
I'm kind of a bitch. Sorry.
I know what you bring to the table.
Love it, honey. We love it. You fit right in, Chris.
No, Blakely she is a real one.
She fit right in. Yes, we love that. Because it's truth. You're just telling the truth. Both of y'all are just telling the truth.
I'm sorry, just the way I look at it is just like, I see so many people suffering, and I hear stories like from IAMQUEENS and everything you guys have been through and the shit that I've been through in my life. I just don't have time for this shit. I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time for fake people. I don't have time for fake movements, fake politicians. Like, people need food. People need housing. And if you're not going to help with that, then get the fuck out of the way.
Right now, they need it right now. As we making this Zoom right now, they need it right now.
Right now.
Well, the senators up here talking about they don't want to do a January 6th commission. They tell us every day, fuck you.
Right.
So we have to tell them, fuck you. We gotta come together. Listen,
Now,
I don't know nothing about no grants.
Y'all welcome to this call anytime.
Everything that I have done does not come from a grant.
Yeah.
We take care of us.
Yeah.
Big
We
fact.
are, yeah,
That
we'll
is-
have to
that is
have you
big
back. We'll have to have you all back whenever you're available. I know you're all busy
Absolutely.
organizing
Anytime.
and
And I'm about to go to Portland next Tuesday for Juneteenth. I believe in we need to organize nationally like Chris do, make national connections. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We
Your thing,
donating 10 laptops to people in Portland for Juneteenth. It's
Donate.
national, baby, so we can go international because all power to the people. We got to remember that. They know how powerful we are. We don't.
Facts.
Mhm.
No,
No, you're
safe
correct.
travel, sis. If I don't talk to you before you leave, and I told you when you get back and you do your 10th, I'm with you on that
All
10th
right.
one. And I am Queens. I'm gonna share your GoFundMe, TS Candii, whatever you need to do. I'm
Send
with
me
you.
the Amazon job application, please, the workers thing, because I definitely need a job right now.
Got you. Say
As
less.
soon as I get off, I will plug you in. I will send you his number. I'll
Okay.
send you Chris' number so you can talk directly to him. Okay, baby?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you my new baby. Mwah.
Thank you.
Candy, that's our new baby. We let her baby. We take care of the baby. Tell her, Candy, we take care of the baby. So
Hey.
big.
I love
I'm
y'all.
dead serious though.
I know.
I'm
know.
dead serious.
I ain't
They
I
all
already
my
know.
children.
I know. I don't know.
I have a child older than you. My oldest child is 27 years old.
Fact.
I know I don't look it.
I know. I was
No,
just about to
yeah,
say
no.
that. I
You don't
was
even
about
look
to say
like-
that.
Wow, I'm only 22.
Nah. Black don't crack. We
Black
love you,
don't
Black.
crack, guys.
You know that. Thank you, Blakely. Hey, Dan, let's stay connected too, Dan. Let me know what's up. I told you what I need y'all to do for us. So, you know,
And
you
then
can't.
already are connected.
Yep.
Thank
That's
you for
my
having me
people.
again.
Absolutely.
All right. Yes.
Y'all enjoy the rest of
It's
your
been
evening.
great. I'm leaving now. I love y'all.
Okay.
Love
Thank you
y'all.
all
Be
so
safe.
much.
Solidarity, y'all. Take care.
Thank you all so much. Have
All
a
right.
great night. Solidarity to y'all.